Nathan Parker had always prided himself on being a provider. For over a decade, he spent countless hours at his desk, glued to spreadsheets and emails, dedicated to building a stable life for his wife, Lisa, and their two children. He understood the sacrifices he made, working 12-hour days at his financial firm in downtown Seattle, convinced that his hard work ensured their family could afford a comfortable home and a good school for the kids. He trusted Lisa implicitly, believing her to be the equally devoted partner he had married. Yet somewhere in the chaos of life, he had become naive, blind to the signs that would ultimately unravel his existence. The cracks in their seemingly perfect life began to form slowly. Lisa had become increasingly distant, a hushed tone creeping into her voice whenever they were together. "I'm just tired," she would say, but Nathan could feel a shift in the air, an uncomfortable tension that settled between them like a dense fog. Little did he know, it was the fog of betrayal that loomed ominously over their home. Amid the mundane routine of family life, Nathan unknowingly turned a blind eye while Lisa embarked on a torrid affair with their neighbor Jason Wells, a man who had charm, a flashy car, and the effortless ability to be there when Nathan was not. As Nathan worked late, motivated by the desire to provide, Lisa basked in the warmth of Jason's attention, enjoying the intimacy they shared, the very kind Nathan thought was reserved for them alone. She laughed louder and smiled more brightly when Nathan was absent, a mark of her betrayal veiled under the guise of innocence. Their lives collided in the most explosive manner during Nathan's annual corporate retreat, an event designed to strengthen morale and showcase the best of the company. Primed for a night of celebration, Nathan could not have anticipated the series of catastrophic events that awaited. As the long evening unfolded, laughter and chatter filled the grand hall, but Nathan's heart raced with anxiety. He had an instinct that something was amiss. While colleagues mingled and drinks flowed, he spotted Lisa across the room. She was leaning against the wall, wearing a dress that accentuated her figure, laughing at something Jason had said, her entire demeanor conveying a level of familiarity that sent ice through Nathan's veins. Driven by an emotion he could not name, Nathan approached, a pit growing in his stomach. "Hey, babe," he called, forcing a grin onto his face. But inside he felt like a volcano on the brink of eruption. In that fleeting moment when Jason caught Nathan's gaze, smug confidence washed over his features. He knew he had conquered someone else's world without any repercussions. Nathan's heart raced as he felt the gravity of the moment shift like a ticking time bomb. "Lisa, can we talk?" Nathan's voice dripped with an urgency that drew the attention of nearby colleagues. The laughter and chatter receded into an eerie silence. Lisa's eyes widened momentarily, and then she veiled her discomfort in a forced smile, stepping toward Nathan while Jason smirked behind her, a wolf enjoying the show. "What's going on?" she asked, feigning innocence. "I saw you talking to Jason. You seem close," Nathan replied, each word heavy with implications. "I think it's time we discuss what's really happening between us." The murmur of onlookers escalated into audible whispers as the tension crackled in the air. Lisa realized her precarious position, with her clandestine life now dangerously close to exposure. "Nathan, we can talk about this later," she said, her voice low and frantic, but Nathan's resolve had solidified like steel. "No, now," he insisted, his patience thinning. "I deserve to know what's going on." "Are you having an affair, Lisa?" His voice rose, and the spectators hung on every word, modern-day gladiators enjoying a showdown in the arena. She faltered, her mask cracking as the weight of truth bore down upon her. And in that precious moment, exposed and raw, it all poured out of her. A confession tinged with regret, but devoid of guilt. "Maybe I have found someone who understands me," she finally whispered, her words sharp as knives. The delighted cheers and laughter of their colleagues shifted into gasps of shock. In that moment, Nathan's world shattered. The humiliation engulfed him, but deeper still was the realization of her betrayal. No longer naive, he felt fury coursing through his veins. The very intensity of an inferno, igniting a heart that had once been warm and trusting. It wasn't just about love lost. It was the complete obliteration of his life, built on trust and loyalty. With eyes darkened and his heart hardened, Nathan knew he wouldn't accept apologies or empty promises. He would not be the victim written into a tale of sorrow. Instead, he would reclaim his narrative, invoking a reckoning that would cascade down on Lisa and Jason like a devastating storm. Would the small man finally take control? Yes, he would rise from the ashes of betrayal, unforgiving and determined to dismantle the lives that conspired against him. The foundation of their lives together crumbled, but he prepared to build a new fortress, one that would not allow betrayal to take root again. The scene around him was surreal. The laughter that once echoed in joy was now laced with pity. The stares directed toward Lisa more filled with disdain than sympathy. Nathan pivoted sharply, a plan igniting behind his tortured gaze as he stormed away from the ashamed couple, each step a stark reminder of the life he was about to reclaim. There would be no room for forgiveness. Only retribution awaited. Nathan's mind raced as he stepped away from the inferno of embarrassment and betrayal. The corporate retreat buzzed with conjecture, but he felt as if the world around him had faded into a dull background hum, a montage of faces transforming from shocked onlookers into witnesses of his impending vengeance. Winds of change were stirring, and he would be the architect of this new storm. Back home, Nathan steeled himself for the inevitable confrontation. Lisa would return, expecting tearful apologies and discussions about how to fix this. He was done with all of that. His heart no longer beat for reconciliation. He needed everything to change, starting from that very evening. Instead of waiting for the drama to unfold, he would insist on setting the terms. When Lisa finally walked through the door, her face was tinged with confusion and the remnants of shame. "Nathan, please," she began, but he cut her off. "Please what? Convince me you're still the same person I thought I married? Let's skip the false dialogue. We both know you've betrayed me." His hands, shaking with a cocktail of anger and purpose, were balled into fists at his sides. "Just give me a chance to explain," she pleaded. But the desperation in her voice only fueled his determination. Nathan stepped closer, his voice lowering ominously. "You think this is about explanations? You've taken everything I've worked for and threw it away for some fleeting thrill with Jason." Heartrending emotions flooded his words, but were overshadowed by a rising coldness. Setting the stage for destruction, Nathan pulled out his phone. With shaky fingers, he began capturing screenshots of her elaborate financial deceit, the transactions that had sneaked past his notice while he toiled away at the firm. For every dinner Lisa had shared with Jason, every new piece of clothing she flaunted, there were notifications of extravagant credit card charges incurred while he had swiped clean to fuel her betrayal. "Lisa," he said, glancing up from the bright screen, "you've racked up thousands of dollars on your secret affairs. Do you honestly think I would allow this to go unpunished?" He watched her face buckle, the facade of assertiveness crumbling into fear. "I didn't mean to hurt you, Nathan. With your intimate late-night rendezvous and extravagant dates?" He laughed darkly. "You didn't just mean to hurt me. You meant to destroy me." In that moment, the walls closed in around them. The familiarity of their home morphed into a courtroom where she had no defense, only a thief desperately trying to justify her stolen life. Shifting gears, he continued, "Tonight, I am serving you notice. This marriage is over." "I'm filing for divorce." Her eyes widened, shooting daggers of panic, and she attempted to seize the moment, thinking she could negotiate their future. "But we have kids. This will ruin everything." "No, your actions have already ruined everything." The truth spat from his lips, fueled by adrenaline. "And as for the kids, you can't put a price on loyalty and trust. They deserve better than the two of us." He gestured animatedly, emphasizing his point as clarity emerged from chaos. Before she could argue, he added, "I'm also freezing our joint accounts. Your spending spree is over. You need to face the consequences of your recklessness, Lisa." At that moment, Nathan saw himself reflected in her wide eyes, a fusion of defiance and despair. The fear that struck her was palpable, strengthening his resolve. He was no longer the man who overlooked the signs of betrayal. He was a man reborn with a singular focus, dismantling the tapestry of deceit that Lisa and Jason had woven around their lives. Determined, Nathan began methodically executing his plan. He contacted a lawyer well-versed in high-stakes divorces, outlining his position: full custody of the kids, substantial financial compensation for her actions, and a plan to carve away every connection between Lisa and Jason. The ensuing days saw Nathan navigating a barrage of exposed emotions, balancing his responsibilities at work while simultaneously orchestrating his offense against the archers of his downfall. Document after document piled up, each new piece revealing more of Lisa's financial indiscretions. Divorces like these weren't just painful, they were war. And war was what Nathan intended to wage. Word quickly spread among their mutual friends about the rift, turning their once tight community into a divided battlefield. Lisa, once an untouchable queen, now faced the whispers and sidelong glances of acquaintances who had previously extolled her virtues. "Did you hear?" someone would murmur as Nathan walked by, the weight of companionship bearing heavy on his shoulders. Each step he took marked both a resolve to obstruct her schemes and solidify his place in everything she had wrought. Nathan's decision to publicly expose Lisa's indiscretions extended beyond preparing for court. It became a tactic of social empowerment. In a bold move, he sent out an invitation to their mutual friends for a gathering where he would unveil the truth, a chance to share his side of the story, a moment to reclaim his humanity. As they gathered under the guise of a friendly reunion, the atmosphere buzzed with anticipation. Nathan stood before them, notes in his hand, ready to confront the shadows of betrayal. With a commanding presence, he laid out the details of Lisa's affair, the financial documents, the recorded conversations, the photos captured in their dreary hotel room that he had painstakingly retrieved. Gasps filled the room as he methodically dismantled their friend's social standing, laying bare the damning evidence. Lisa stood frozen, her face pale, as Nathan unveiled every detail. Jason's name echoed like a death knell. The dramatic scenario unfolded, and with each revelation, Nathan felt empowered, revived by the undeniable realization that he had reclaimed control. When the final piece of evidence fell into place, Lisa's defenses crumbled, leaving her no choice but to bear the consequences of their twisted reality. The room erupted in sympathetic murmurs, and the once revered couple, now exposed in front of their circle, stood rotting at the center of social scrutiny. As people began to turn on Lisa, Nathan realized that this was more than revenge. It was a lesson, a stark reminder that every betrayal held its own weight, deserving of consequences steeper than any betrayal itself could justify. Their relationship had irrevocably shifted. Nathan could feel the burden of malice lift ever so slightly while he watched the last threads of Lisa's dignity unravel, a slow, punishing unraveling that revealed her hollow facade. And when Jason reached out to plead for mercy, Nathan left him stranded as well. "You're no more than a hollow shell of a man," he declared. "What did you think this would lead to? I hope the thrill was worth it." With cold precision, Nathan welcomed not just the collapse of his past, but the birth of a new resolve, a powerful sense of self that promised future liberation. The battle was raging, and he was the victor, not solely of his marriage, but of the battle for himself. The weeks following the exposé transformed Nathan into a man of purpose and defiance. While Lisa desperately attempted to spin the narrative in her favor, he reveled in the foundation he'd built from the ashes of their shattered marriage. Their social circle had turned cold. Acquaintances once eager to engage now avoided Lisa, their whispers more frequent and sharper. Nathan didn't just break the chains of betrayal. He shattered the very concept of their bond, proving that treachery carried consequences far weightier than infidelity itself. With legal momentum on his side, he was resolute in pushing forward as their divorce moved through the courts. Fueled by a newfound sense of agency, Nathan would not simply settle for half measures. His lawyer had assured him of a strong case for full custody of their children, given the overwhelming evidence of Lisa's unreliability and deceit. Every piece of evidence he had collected, coupled with the testimonies of friends who had witnessed the change in Lisa's character, amounted to a formidable arsenal aimed at dismantling her claims for joint custody. The courtroom became a battleground where the raw emotions simmered beneath judicious decorum. Nathan stood tall in a tailored suit, his demeanor reflecting resilience rather than the vulnerability he had once felt. As he faced Lisa across the table, a chilling reminder of their shared history, he saw not the woman he had loved, but a shadow of betrayal, someone unworthy of his empathy. Their lawyer began with the formalities, but Nathan knew that when it was his turn to speak, he needed to weave a narrative that would resonate both emotionally and logically with the judge. Underneath the civil tone of proceedings, his heart raced as he prepared to confront the anguish and anger that simmered within him. "Your Honor," Nathan began, his voice steady and commanding, "I stand here not merely to end a marriage, but to protect two innocent children whose well-being has been compromised by the actions of their mother." He could feel the weight of his words hanging in the air, a statement heavier than the gavel that would ultimately render judgment. As the hearing progressed, Lisa attempted to paint herself as the victim, a narrative laden with attempts at self-justification. "I lost myself, Your Honor," she cried, her voice echoing through the cold courtroom. "I made mistakes, but every mother goes through hard times." At that moment, Nathan held the judge's attention and calmly revealed the detailed accounts of Lisa's reckless spending, with painstaking clarity, listing transaction histories for the court. "Your Honor, while my wife claims to be lost, she hasn't lost herself as a mother. She's lost herself in the arms of another man, using the resources we've built together for her selfish whims. My children deserve better than that." Feeling emboldened, he pressed forward with documentation of the numerous late nights and unexplained absences that painted a narrative of neglect. Not just marital neglect, but parental abandonment. The silence in the courtroom thickened as he detailed how Lisa had failed to prioritize the children, choosing instead to engage in selfish escapism. "While I have been steadfast in providing for my family, working long hours to secure our future, she has chosen to invest in fleeting romantic connections at their expense," Nathan concluded, feeling the tumultuous swell of emotions rising within him, a tide ready to crash against the remnants of his wife's facade. Lisa grasped desperately at any semblance of hope, turning to the judge with tears in her eyes. "I can change, Your Honor. I can be the mother they need. I just need a chance." But Nathan's piercing gaze cut through the desperation. "A chance at what, Lisa? A chance to deceive, to exploit anyone or anything that gives you fleeting pleasure? You have compromised our children's safety and security for your whims." The judge considered it all: Nathan's passionate defense, the evidence presented, and Lisa's desperate claims of reform. The balance of justice teetered, but Nathan could feel the weight of the courtroom shifting in his favor. This was the end of a troubling chapter, but it also heralded the beginning of his awakening. The verdict that finally came was tangible, stark. "In light of the overwhelming evidence presented today, I am awarding full custody of the children to Nathan Parker. I sincerely hope that both parties can reflect on their choices as they navigate this transition." Relief washed over Nathan, a cathartic release from the burdens of guilt he had unknowingly carried. A profound sense of liberation settled in. He had reclaimed his narrative, refusing to remain a passive observer in his own life. Lisa's subsequent expression, torn between disbelief and rage, offered him a perverse satisfaction. As she stormed out of the courtroom, the tight-knit community lingering in the halls now turned their attention to Nathan. Their expressions conveyed sympathy and respect, the weight of shared history replaced by a newfound admiration for his strength. "Good for you, Nathan," one of his friends murmured conspiratorially, a rugged pat on his back. "You did what needed to be done." She needed this wake-up call. As the months progressed, supportive bonds built around shared ideals began to reshape Nathan's life. He invested time reconnecting with his children, prioritizing them and their well-being over everything else. He became their steady anchor, guiding them through the emotional fallout of their parents' divided lives with grace and understanding. As the reality of her choices began to dawn on Lisa, her social isolation worsened. Friends once close began to keep their distance, while Jason, faced with his own collapse as a social pariah, abandoned her. His withdrawal was swift and merciless. The fleeting thrill had vanished, leaving only a devastated woman struggling in the wake of her decisions. Despite her attempts to reach out, begging Nathan to reconsider co-parenting, Nathan remained resolute. The once warm tenderness he had harbored for the mother of his children had evaporated. Their relationship was now solely transactional, focused on the children's best interests, reinforced by firm boundaries. Whenever she instigated contact, Nathan would remind her with cold precision of the choices she had made. "I am not your safety net, Lisa," he would assert, standing firm against her attempts at reconciliation. "You made your bed, and now you must lie in it." Her failed attempts at reintegration turned into a public spectacle, as the once adored matriarch of the household was paraded as its downfall. The final nail in the coffin of her dignity came when a few of their close friends confronted her directly, forcing her to accept the cold, hard truth of what she had thrown away for flings and frivolities. By winter, Nathan stood at a new crossroads, fully aware that he had emerged from the wreckage, not just unbroken but with a fierce sense of purpose. Alone but empowered, he began considering the possibilities of a different life, one steeped in authenticity and genuine connections, free from the burdens of his past. His healing began in self-discovery, focusing on rediscovering passions he had buried during the years spent laboring to please others. Whether it was breathing life back into long-lost hobbies, reconnecting with old friends, or simply dedicating time to himself, he felt invigorated by the freedom granted by each new step. And as he watched his children thrive, their laughter cascading through the halls of their home, Nathan understood a profound truth. Some wounds do not heal, but they inform the fortitude needed to rise anew. As winter transitioned into spring, Nathan began to embrace the transformation that had unfolded not only in his life, but within himself. His days were now filled with laughter and joy that echoed around the home, a stark contrast to the tumultuous environment that had once felt suffocating. The children blossomed in this newfound atmosphere of warmth and security, far removed from the chaos that had defined their past. Yet, as he reveled in this rebirth, Nathan was also faced with a decision that weighed heavily on him: how to rebuild his life without the remnants of his former relationship strangling his potential for happiness. It was during a routine coffee meeting with a work colleague, Sarah, that Nathan first felt a flicker of something he hadn't experienced in ages, something that promised to be more than just survival. Sarah, a vibrant and sharp-witted woman, had recently divorced her own unfaithful spouse. As they exchanged stories, both feeling the sting of betrayal and loss, Nathan felt a strange connection develop, a raw understanding rooted in shared experiences. Their laughter felt genuine, echoing uneasily against the stark backdrop of their previous sorrows. Unbeknownst to him, Sarah had been following his life's recent upheavals in the community. She admired his courage to stand up for himself and his children. Each passing week saw their interactions grow, blossoming into an organic friendship nurtured by mutual respect and understanding. Sarah appreciated Nathan's dedication to his kids, while he found solace in her openness. Their conversations flowed easily, tackling everything from parenting challenges to deeper philosophical discussions about life. She brought out the small, soft parts of Nathan's soul that he had buried during his marriage, reminding him of his worth beyond financial stability. One sunny Saturday afternoon, they found themselves on the banks of Lake Washington, laughter mingling with the sounds of nature surrounding them. Their children played nearby, lost in a world of imagination, And it was at that moment, the sun warm on their shoulders and the sounds of joy echoing all around, that Nathan realized how pivotal this connection was becoming. I love seeing the kids together. They remind me of the simpler times, Sarah said, her eyes sparkling as she watched the children laugh and splash in the water. It's those moments, isn't it? Moments of pure joy. Nathan turned to her, feeling an awakening inside him. It is, he admitted, surprised by the earnestness in his voice. It's been easier to forget the pain of the past when I watch them live freely. They're resilient, you know? I want that for them, to experience as much happiness as possible. And I want that for myself, too. Sarah's gaze lingered on him for a moment, the world around them falling into silence as they shared a genuine connection. You deserve it, Nathan. You fought hard for your peace. Life shouldn't just be about surviving, but truly living. Their newfound bond drew Nathan out of his shell, allowing him to embrace happiness once more. Yet, while these moments were therapeutic, they also ignited flickers of fear within him. Fear of vulnerability, fear of the painful possibility of another betrayal. He found himself grappling with the emotions that surged through him at the thought of opening his heart again. But as the weeks turned into months, Nathan began confronting those fears with Sarah by his side. She was different. She understood the depths of betrayal and had emerged from her own shadows. Trust wasn't rebuilt overnight, yet each day they spent together pushed Nathan further away from the remnants of his toxic past, encouraging him to embrace the promise of something new. The pivotal moment arrived late one evening when they found themselves engaged in deep conversation over a bottle of wine. You know, I never thought I'd be capable of trusting again after my marriage fell apart, Nathan confessed, his heart racing. But something about you feels safe, like I can explore this side of me again without the walls I built for so long. Sarah met his gaze, her expression tinged with understanding. I know that fear. I carry it too. But we each deserve to be happy, to take a chance at love again. Why limit ourselves because of what happened before? A wave of emotion washed over Nathan, and the tentative walls he had built began to crack. You're right. He paused, gathering his thoughts. But it feels so risky. What if I fail again? What if this all spirals back into pain? Then we'll face it together, she replied softly, her words a tender commitment that melted away his uncertainty. We'll take it slow, and I'll be right here beside you. A profound sense of relief swept through Nathan. It was as if someone had lifted a curtain of fog, obscuring his vision for so long. They leaned toward each other, and with a gentle brush of her hand, Sarah shattered the final remnants of his fear. The contact sparked warmth, and in that moment, Nathan felt alive, awash in the realization that love wasn't merely a risk, but a chance worth taking. From that night on, Nathan and Sarah's bond blossomed. They spent evenings laughing over shared meals with their children, building a network of joy and laughter that intermingled among their previous scars. It was this complex tapestry, woven from their respective histories, that started to form the foundation for a future that included both emotional connectivity and trust, one filled with potential rather than disappointment. However, even as he forged ahead, shadows from his past loomed nearby. Lisa wouldn't fade easily, and the fallout from their tumultuous experiences, the financial strains of the divorce left, stretched across Nathan's once neatly organized life. Despite the love that now surrounded him, the reality of shared custody reminded him of the vulnerability present in every choice he made. At every exchange for the kids, he prepared himself for potential altercations with Lisa, a woman now desperate to regain some semblance of normalcy. Her attempts to manipulate him during pickups were met with increasing resistance. Nathan remained unwavering, focusing all his energy on remaining the steady figure his children needed. One particularly tense evening when Lisa attempted to instill guilt over their children's happiness, Nathan took a deep breath and squared his shoulders, a testament to his growth. Lisa, what's done is done. You made your choices, and the consequences belong to you. Please stop trying to involve the kids in your turmoil. they deserve better. Navigating these confrontations was an arduous task, but Nathan approached them with a newfound confidence, embodying the values he had spent months reclaiming. The acceptance of his own worth and the love blooming all around him buoyed his spirit, preparing him for the difficult realities that came with his reality. As the seasons continued to change, Nathan not only embraced the challenges presented to him, but also began to channel them into empowerment. He remained steadfastly dedicated to both his career and his priorities as a parent. He found solace in the love he shared with Sarah, a bond nurtured by mastery over trauma and infused with the hope of a brighter tomorrow. Nathan had emerged from the desolate shadows of betrayal, transcending beyond the pain and disappointment he had initially endured. He stood proud, no longer just a man who survived, but one who emerged stronger for having lived through it all. Life with Sarah and the children felt like a fresh canvas, a new beginning brimming with potential. The chaotic past dimmed in the wake of resilience, and Nathan was prepared for whatever the future held, knowing he would not shrink from its beauty or its uncertainties, but rather embrace them all. As spring transitioned into summer, the warmth enveloping Nathan's life was palpable. His children had grown comfortable within their new routine, and their laughter filled the air, a soundtrack of resilience promising brighter horizons. Together with Sarah, they built a new foundation, a family dynamic that thrived on joy and shared values, rather than the fear and dread that had once permeated their lives. Yet the specters of the past lingered, casting shadows that Nathan actively sought to dispel. Every interaction with Lisa, though more manageable than before, reminded him of the lengths he had gone to reclaim his autonomy. Nathan knew that he had to remain vigilant. Any misstep could unearth the tumultuous emotions begging to resurface. Chaos could easily invade their newfound tranquility. One afternoon was dedicated to parenthood, a cheerful outing planned at the Seattle Aquarium. The outing included Sarah's children, and there was a burgeoning sense of camaraderie among the kids, forming bonds that felt innocent yet fostered genuine connections. The sun glistened on the water, and the laughter shared turned into a symphony of joy, sounds of pure bliss that lifted Nathan's heart and reassured his spirit. As the family watched the marine life together, Nathan felt a lingering satisfaction settle within him. He had spent years building a life founded on fear and mistrust. Now, standing here, surrounded by laughter and wonder, he felt whole. The bright colors of the aquarium mirrored the vibrancy that had seeped back into his life, and he silently vowed never to take this peace for granted. "Dad, look at the seahorses!" his daughter Lily exclaimed, her eyes wide with excitement, pulling Nathan from his contemplations. "They're amazing," Nathan replied, kneeling down to match her enthusiasm. "Did you know there are over 70 different species of seahorses?" "That's so cool," she giggled, captivated by the intricate dance of the delicate creatures. It was her joy that tugged at Nathan's heart, reminding him of the deeper purpose behind his decisions. As they delved deeper into the aquarium, Sarah joined in. "Now, my kids adore their dad," she said proudly, watching Nathan interact with the children. "You're building something beautiful with them." A slow smile unfurled on Nathan's lips. "I'm just glad to be a part of their lives," he said, brushing off the praise. "They deserve someone who is present." The day continued seamlessly, with each new exhibit capturing the kids' imaginations. But as evening approached, Nathan's phone buzzed insistently with notifications. Tension settled like a weight on his chest as a familiar name popped up. Lisa. He opened the message hesitantly, heart sinking slightly as she wrote, "We need to talk. It's important." Frustration surged within him. After everything, a bitter divorce, hostile exchanges, and her relentless attempts at manipulation, what could she possibly want now? Nathan glanced at Sarah, who noticed the change in his demeanor. "What's wrong?" she asked, concern knitting her brow. "It's Lisa," he sighed, running a hand through his hair. "She wants to talk." "Do you think you should?" Sarah asked, her intuition sharp. "You've worked so hard to establish boundaries. Don't let her trap you into reopening wounds." "I know, but..." Nathan hesitated, grappling with the persistent ache of shared responsibility. What if it's something important? What if the kids are affected? You know your worth, Nathan, Sarah encouraged gently. You don't owe her anything. With those words, she offered him a lifeline, a reminder of how far he had come, urging him not to slip back into the chains of obligation. With deep breath drawing strength from the day spent at the aquarium, Nathan replied, "What's so important that it can't wait until Monday?" "Let's just meet tomorrow at the park," Lisa messaged back. "I need to explain myself." By the next afternoon, Nathan wrestled with a swirl of emotions as he drove toward the park where the meeting would take place. He needed to remain composed, even as uncertainty filled the pit in his stomach. Was this going to be an apology or yet another attempt at manipulation? Approaching the park, Nathan spotted Lisa seated on a bench, her posture betraying her nervousness. She appeared subdued, almost vulnerable, amidst the vibrant surroundings. Yet he reminded himself that vulnerability could easily cloak deceit, so he remained guarded. "Thanks for meeting," she began, her voice lacking the usual bravado. "I didn't know how else to reach you." "Let's get to the point, Lisa." Nathan crossed his arms, impatience lacing his tone. "What's so important?" "I wanted to apologize," she started, her eyes downcast. "Not just for the affair, but for everything. All the hurt I caused you and the kids." His heart pounded at her admission, and he could scarcely believe what he was hearing. "You're really going to sit here and claim remorse now, after the way you behaved?" "I know I don't deserve your forgiveness," she rushed to say, "but I wanted to acknowledge that my actions were wrong. I've spent months reflecting on how I hurt you, and I regret it. I'm trying to change." Nathan remained skeptical, his instincts honed from experience. "You're saying this now because you've lost everything: friends, respect, dignity." The bitterness of those words tasted sharp, and Nathan could feel walls surrounding his heart hardening. "You made choices that led to this, and now you'd like to rewrite the narrative?" "I know you have every right to be angry," Lisa continued, her voice trembling, "but I want to be better, not just for myself, but also for the kids. I realized how badly I need to earn their trust again." "And what makes you think I'd let you back into our lives?" Nathan shot back, his voice low but pulsing with resolve. "Trust is not something you can just reclaim. You shattered it." "I know," she whispered, tears brimming in her eyes. "All I ask is for a chance, with time, to show them that I can be a better mother. I'm committed to change." For a brief moment, Nathan felt the pull of compassion inside him. It would be easy to melt, to affirm her desire for redemption. Yet, the memories of betrayal rattled all sense of empathy. "They deserve consistency, Lisa, not false promises. You forfeited that chance the moment you chose to betray me and our family. Words don't heal wounds. You will have to prove your growth through action." Her face reflected the burden of his refusal, a quiet acknowledgement of the consequences of her choices. "I'll do whatever it takes," she claimed softly. "Even if it takes years to earn their trust, I'll never stop trying." Nathan stood, a subtle strength surging through him. "Now, for their sake, you should be focused on finding yourself, not building a narrative where you play the victim." He met her gaze, unwavering. "Let's leave the past in the past. I will not re-engage in this dance." As he turned to leave, a fleeting part of him wished for closure for both of them, but he recognized that closure could often elude those entangled in betrayal's aftermath. He reminded himself of the precious life waiting for him beyond this conversation, the laughter of his children, the warmth of Sarah's support, and the promise of what his family could still become. Stepping back into his present, he felt renewed resolve settle within him. The more he walked away from Lisa's contradictions, the closer he walked toward the future he'd actively cultivated. He would let the sun guide him forward, not merely for his own sake, but for the children and the love they'd built together, leaving the shadows of betrayal far behind. As Nathan stepped away from the weight of his meeting with Lisa, he could feel a mixture of relief and satisfaction. There had been no room for doubt or rehashing the past. He had made his stance abundantly clear. The past lay buried, while the future shimmered invitingly in front of him, ready to be embraced. Back home, the atmosphere was filled with laughter. The children had returned from a day at Sarah's, their excitement contagious as they poured out stories of games, colors, and adventures. Nathan found himself smiling at their animated expressions, a stark reminder of how much joy could exist despite the chaos that had previously ruled his life. "Dad, we painted! Look at these!" Lily exclaimed, shoving a piece of paper under his nose. It was a bright rainbow, exaggerated and whimsical, embodying the imaginative world she inhabited. Nathan's heart swelled, a sense of pride flooding over him. This was the essence of his children, vibrant and alive just as they should be. "This is amazing, Lily," he beamed, holding the artwork up. "You might just be an artist one day. Can I hang it on the fridge?" She practically sparkled with enthusiasm. "Absolutely." Nathan chuckled, taking a moment to step back and take it in. How far they had come in such a short time. The silence of fear had been replaced with open laughter, and while the specter of Lisa's betrayal still haunted them from time to time, it no longer held the power to control their lives. As the evening wore on, Nathan felt a gentle breeze slip through the open door. He settled in next to Sarah on the couch, a spontaneous moment of intimacy enveloping them as they watched the children play. There was comfort in their shared silence, and as Nathan glanced sideways at her, he caught the soft glow of her smile, illuminating the dim light of the room. "You seem different," Sarah remarked, her gaze steady as she turned to him. "Like you're at peace in a way I haven't seen before. After the meeting with Lisa, I've realized there's no going back and no need to dwell on the past," Nathan replied. "It's a new chapter for all of us, and I'm ready to embrace it fully." "That's wonderful to hear," Sarah said warmly. "Your strength shows, Nathan. You've come so far." He reached for her hand, their fingers intertwining in silent affirmation of their growing bond. "Thank you for being a part of this journey with me. I don't think I would have gotten this far without your support." "There's no need to thank me," she replied, her tone earnest. "Seeing you embrace the future is all the reward I need. I've grown too through all this." The warmth of their connection deepened. Nathan felt a stirring in his heart that reminded him of the love he thought he had lost forever. Yet, here it was, the budding of something authentic, unshackled from the past. As summer approached, their lives began to intertwine more intricately. Nathan and Sarah orchestrated weekend getaways to picturesque locales, delighting their children with trips to local parks or excursions to nearby theme parks. There was laughter on roller coasters, ice cream smeared across joyful faces, and it was in those simple moments that Nathan realized they were weaving a tapestry of happiness, one beautiful thread at a time. Yet, as their routines became more synchronized, Nathan was still acutely aware of the precarious balance of maintaining boundaries with Lisa. They had managed to navigate the earlier emotional minefield where tensions threatened to flare. But he knew that as summer rolled in, Lisa might attempt to rehash past grievances, under the guise of civility, or even request more contact with the children. True to his instincts, a reappearance was imminent. One particularly warm Saturday afternoon, Nathan received an unexpected call from Lisa. The tension in his chest returned, and he hesitated before answering. "Hello," he managed, steeling himself for whatever was about to unfold. "Can we talk? I'd like to propose a sort of family gathering," she suggested, her tone cautiously diplomatic. "I think it's essential for the kids to see us get along for their sake. We should try to be civilized." Nathan mulled over her words for a moment. "You mean I should put aside what happened because it'll help you appear like a better person to the kids?" "No, that's not it," she insisted, and he could almost sense her frustration, even over the phone. "I truly believe we should try to set a good example for them, Nathan. We are still their parents, after all. We've set an example by showing that actions have consequences, Lisa." "I won't pretend like nothing happened," he said firmly, determined to maintain his ground. "If you want to see the kids, I'm willing to facilitate that in a way that's safe for them." "But we cannot force something that isn't genuine." "I understand," she replied quietly, the heat of argument flickering into silence. "After everything, I can see where I've lost the right to dictate terms. But I want to try. I need them to see me trying." You may have to earn that back, he conceded, allowing a tentative truce to linger in the air. Let's take this one step at a time. The conversation ended amicably enough, but Nathan felt unsettled. While he appreciated Lisa's desire to mend relationships for the sake of the kids, he knew that rebuilding trust wouldn't happen overnight. At his core, he felt remarkably steadfast. He would not allow soft words to unravel the progress he and the children had made. Over the next week, Nathan navigated the delicate balance he needed to strike. He communicated with Sarah about Lisa's request, keeping her in the loop. It's important to be cautious, but we also have to set the right precedent for the kids, she advised thoughtfully. After much contemplation, Nathan begrudgingly agreed to a tentative meeting, planning a picnic in the local park where they could navigate the complexities of co-parenting. The day arrived with clouds threatening to dim the sun, but optimism overcame doubt as he prepared his children for what lay ahead. Just remember, you can be honest with me, he encouraged them, settling into the car. You don't have to hide your feelings if you feel uncomfortable. The meeting proceeded in a curious mix of anxiety and caution. Lisa arrived with an apprehensive demeanor, her eyes scanning the park as if seeking approval from both Nathan and the children. The children were cautious but showed a hint of excitement as the park held familiar treasures. Hey guys, look, there's a playground right over there, Lisa pointed, attempting to bridge the awkwardness that hung between them. Over the next couple of hours, they engaged in playful banter, parents trying to sincerely bond while grasping the undertones of unease. The children cycled between exciting laughter at the playground and moments when the tension thickened, glancing between their parents. A pivotal moment arose when they sat down together on a picnic blanket laden with sandwiches. It feels nice to just be here, doesn't it? Lisa said, her eyes searching for signs of acceptance. Nathan replied cautiously, For the kids, yes. But we both know it requires more than just a picnic to repair what's broken. The words hung heavy in the air. The children continued to play, blissfully unaware of the underlying currents swirling around them. They made brief attempts at small talk, but the emotional distance between Nathan and Lisa persisted, and Nathan remained unwavering. Slowly, Lisa began to share snippets of her own journey, a glimpse of her efforts to improve as a person and a mother. I go to parenting classes now, and I've been working on myself, she admitted, her voice wavering slightly. It was a vulnerable moment, but beneath it, Nathan recognized a fragile sincerity he hadn't seen before. As Lisa expressed her changes, Nathan felt the earth shift. I'm proud of you, Lisa, he conceded, his tone softer. I hope you follow through because our children deserve it. Her expression brightened as hope flickered across her features. I want to be better for them. It's going to take time, but I'm willing to make the effort. As they parted that evening, Nathan felt a partial weight lift from his shoulders. He understood that trust couldn't be reclaimed overnight, but he recognized that this pivotal moment could herald the dawn of new possibilities. There was potential here to bridge gaps, to build a relationship defined by the children rather than by betrayal. Driving home with his children chattering in delight, Nathan aspires now not merely to rebuild, but to create something fresh, something brighter for the family they could become. In this uncertain landscape of healing, he held onto a beacon of hope shining through, knowing that the strength of his heart, the complexity of human connection, and the resilience of love would guide the way forward. It was a new chapter unfolding, and the plot felt promising as he embraced the unfolding journey of healing and growth. As the weeks unfolded following the picnic, Nathan found himself navigating the complex emotions that co-parenting with Lisa stirred within him. The tension that once filled his life had eased, replaced by tentative trust and a shared commitment to their children. He noticed small changes in Lisa. Her demeanor softened whenever they met. Genuine efforts to engage in conversations about the kids' interests and needs began to emerge, and there was less defensiveness in her tone. Yet, even amidst this shifting dynamic, Nathan remained resolute in his boundaries. He understood that actions spoke louder than words, and while Lisa seemed committed to change, he knew healing required more than occasional gestures. It needed consistency, and earnestness. Over the months, he kept the focus on their children, facilitating visits and ensuring they felt secure and loved. One crisp autumn evening, while Nathan was preparing the kids for bed, he received an unexpected message from Sarah. "Can we talk? I have something important to share." Intrigued, Nathan sensed the weight behind those words, wondering what could possibly require their immediate discussion. They arranged to meet at a local cafe, the warmth inside contrasting sharply with the briskness of the fall air outside. Sarah looked visibly anxious as Nathan settled across from her. "You okay?" he asked gently, sensing her unease. "I'm good," she replied, though her fingers fidgeted with the hem of her blouse. "Actually, I'm more than good. I need to share some news." Nathan felt his heart quicken, curiosity intertwining with nerves. "What's going on?" Taking a deep breath, Sarah leaned in slightly. "I've been thinking a lot about us, and, well, I took a pregnancy test today. It's positive." For a moment, time felt suspended, his mind racing to process the enormity of what she had just shared. This was a monumental development in their relationship, a possibility swirling with excitement and trepidation. "Wow," he finally managed, the reality sinking in. "You're pregnant?" "Yes," she affirmed, her eyes wide but filled with apprehension. "And I wanted to discuss it with you before I made any assumptions about where we are. I know this changes everything." Nathan could feel the weight of the moment settle around them. He remembered the late-night conversations they'd shared about wanting to build a future. The laughter of their kids echoed in the background, and suddenly the reality of a new life felt close, yet overwhelming. It was both a joy and a complexity he hadn't fully anticipated. "I think this is amazing," Nathan replied, his smile breaking through the initial shock. "But it's also a lot to consider. We need to talk about everything, how this affects the kids and our relationship." "Of course," Sarah nodded, gratitude and worry dancing in her eyes. "I don't want to rush into anything. I want to make sure that we both feel ready." As they dove deeper into the conversation, discussing emotions, expectations, and what the future might hold, Nathan felt a thrill sweep through him. The prospect of becoming a parent again ignited a flicker of hope, a chance at a new kind of family, one that embraced love and forged connections, strengthened by trials overcome together. But that hope also instigated caution. With Lisa slowly mending familial ties, Nathan knew he had to be deliberate about how they could approach this new chapter. He could feel a shadow lurking, the potential for complications arising as they navigated blended family dynamics. "We need to communicate openly about this, for the sake of all the kids involved," he stated firmly. "My focus is still on my children and their adjustments, and they need to know they're loved and prioritized." "Absolutely," Sarah agreed. "I want to be a part of their lives, and I want to make sure this transition is smooth for everyone." As they outlined a plan for integrating Sarah into the lives of Nathan's children, he felt a tether of hope weaving itself back into the fabric of his days. He was aware of the obstacles, but he was ready to face them head-on, determined to build a life anchored in honesty, love, and resilience. In the ensuing days, Nathan approached the exciting news gradually, preparing to disclose it to Lily and her brother, Ben. He wanted them to understand this change was about love, not competition or displacement. He opted for a casual family dinner to ensure the atmosphere remained relaxed. As they gathered around the dinner table, the delicious aroma of pasta wafting through the air, Lily picked at her food, her eyes flicking between her father and her brother. Nathan took a deep breath, ready to broach the subject. "Guys, there's something we want to share with you," he began, glancing at Sarah across the table for reassurance. "You know how I've been spending time with Sarah?" "Yeah," Ben piped up. "She's super fun." "Yeah, she's great," Nathan smiled, then continued. "Well, Sarah and I have some exciting news. We're going to have a baby together." The silence that followed was palpable, both children's eyes widening in astonishment. Nathan half expected a barrage of questions or a wave of excitement, but instead, they were clearly processing the implications of what this would mean. "Like a baby we can hold?" Lily asked hesitantly, her voice quiet with wonder. "Yes, just like that," Nathan confirmed. "A little sibling for you both." Ben's brow furrowed. But can't you just have another one of us instead? He squeezed out, and for a moment, Nathan could see the confusion that came with imagining how their family would be reshaped. Ben, we love you two so much, and having a baby isn't to replace anything, Sarah interjected gently. You and Lily will always be my kids, too. This baby just means our family's growing and there's more love to share. Lily's small face broke into a smile. Like a playmate, she grinned, her excitement surfacing. That's so cool. Over the next few days, Nathan watched as the children settled into the notion of having a little sibling on the way, their excitement growing as they envisioned what it would be like. He encouraged them to share their questions and worries, hoping to cultivate an open dialogue as they transitioned into this new chapter together. While everything felt promising, Nathan continued to manage the delicate balance of maintaining boundaries with Lisa. She reached out often, needing his input or guidance regarding their children, and despite his best efforts to meet her with professionalism, he could feel the old bitterness threatening to bubble back to the surface. A few weeks later, as they organized a birthday party for Ben, Nathan found himself face-to-face with Lisa in an unexpected encounter while setting up the event at a local park. So, you're really going to have another kid? She asked, her tone a mixture of surprise and something else he couldn't place. That's right, Sarah and I are excited, Nathan replied, maintaining composure. What about the two of us? She pressed, the vulnerability in her voice surfacing as she searched his eyes for a reaction. Lisa, that chapter's closed, he stated firmly, eyes unflinching. I'm happy for our children. But you and I have to accept that our relationship has transformed into something different. I'm focusing on building positivity from here on out. The conversation felt charged, but Nathan remained steadfast, a reminder that the path forward was as much about protecting his own peace as it was about their children. Navigating the complexity of blended families would require patience and understanding, and he was determined to foster an environment where all their children could thrive. As Ben's birthday unfolded, Nathan felt proud of how far he had come, from navigating heartache to building a life that overflowed with love and laughter. With Sarah by his side, a baby on the way, and the renewed potential of family, Nathan stepped forward into the light. He held on to the promise of brighter days ahead, inviting hope into their future as they continued to create the vibrant, loving family he had long wished for. One built not only on resilience, but on the shared joys of a life filled with genuine connection. The day of Ben's birthday party arrived, and excitement filled the air. Nathan woke early, eager to ensure that everything was perfect for his son. He collaborated with Sarah, who had seamlessly integrated into their lives, adding her own flair and enthusiasm to the celebration. Together, they had planned a day full of games, laughter, and surprises, a day that would leave lasting memories for the children. Bright decorations adorned the backyard. A colorful banner proclaiming, "Happy birthday, Ben!" danced in the morning breeze, while balloons bobbed cheerily against the blue sky. As they set up, Nathan could see Lily darting around with her friends, filled with the infectious energy of youth. "Dad, can we have a jumpy castle, please?" Lily pleaded, bouncing on her toes, with the growing anticipation of the day. "Of course, we've got it ready. Don't forget to save some energy for your cake later," Nathan replied, chuckling at her excitement. With everything coming together, they awaited the guests. Nathan felt a sense of pride swell within him as he took in the vibrant atmosphere created with Sarah's help. It felt like a new beginning, not just for the children, but for him as well. As friends and family trickled in, Nathan noticed Lisa arrive, her expression a mixture of anxiety and determination. She greeted him with an apprehensive smile, clearly trying her best to project a positive demeanor. "Thanks for inviting me, Nathan," she said, her tone friendly yet cautious, as she surveyed the bustling party. "Of course, the kids wanted you here. As long as it's smooth for them, that's what matters," Nathan replied, keeping his tone professional but warm. This was about more than just Ben. It was about setting an example of how to navigate a blended family in a positive way. The party progressed with unrestrained joy. Ben was surrounded by friends as they played games and enjoyed treats. Laughter echoed through the yard as the kids bounced enthusiastically in the jumpy castle, while parents caught up over refreshments. Nathan glanced at Sarah, who was effortlessly engaging with both adults and kids, her laughter blending seamlessly into the celebration. It was a sight that filled him with admiration. At one point, Nathan caught Ben solo, looking downcast amidst the laughter as he fiddled with a party favor. Concern washed over him. "Hey, buddy, what's up?" He crouched down, meeting Ben's gaze. "It's just, I was hoping we could have a big family party like how we used to, you know?" Ben's sincerity made his heart ache. Nathan's heart tightened as he realized how changes in their family dynamic weighed on his son. "I understand, buddy. Sometimes things change, but we can make wonderful new memories too. Look around you. Everyone is here to celebrate you." Nathan reassured him. "But what if I miss the old parties?" Ben murmured, uncertainty creeping into his voice. Nathan swept him into a hug. "It's okay to miss things, buddy. They were special. But you know what? Being with friends and family, making new traditions, it's all part of growing up. We can do both." Ben nodded, a small smile beginning to form. "You're right. Now go enjoy that jumpy castle. This day is for you, and I want to see you have the best time." "Let's create some amazing memories together," Nathan encouraged, giving his son a gentle shove toward the laughter. As Ben darted off, Nathan could see the familiarity of joy returning to his son's expression. No matter how much he wanted to cling to the past, he also needed to embrace the future. As the celebration continued, Lisa approached him again, this time with a visibly softer demeanor. "I've been watching the kids today. They seem really happy," she remarked. "They are. They're just kids being kids, and that's what is important," Nathan replied, holding his ground. "They need your support as well." "Right," she said, her voice almost contemplative. "I think I still have this urge to try and control everything, to fix things. But I'm trying to relax and let things flow as they should." Nathan nodded, sensing her honesty. "It's a process, Lisa. It takes time, but focusing on the kids will help guide us all." As they spoke, Sarah joined them. "Hey, you two, how about some cake? It's time for the big moment," she announced, her exuberance lighting the mood. The children gathered around the large, colorful cake, adorned with Ben's favorite superhero. Nathan watched with fondness as he joined the group, feeling the unrestrained joy radiating around him. "Make a wish, buddy," Nathan encouraged Ben, feeling excitement pulse through the air. As Ben blew out the candles, applause erupted, but behind the smiles, Nathan saw a flicker of unease in Lisa's eyes, an acknowledgement, perhaps, of what could have been. But today was for Ben, not reflections on the past. After cake and presents, the afternoon wound down to a close. Guests began to filter out, their laughter lingering like a warm embrace in the air. Nathan spent time with Ben and Lily, reflecting on the day, while Sarah assisted with cleanup, an embodiment of her partnership within their evolving family. Later that evening, while settling the kids in bed, Nathan slipped into Lily's room. "You had a great birthday, right?" he asked, tucking her under the blanket. "The best! And Dad, I really liked Sarah. She feels like family now." "Can she stay forever?" Lily's innocent question struck Nathan at the core. "Yes, sweetheart. I believe she can be a lasting part of our family," he assured her. "What about Mom?" Lily ventured, her voice tinged with curiosity. "We'll navigate that together. I want to ensure that everyone feels valued," Nathan promised. "But always remember, you're my #1 priority, and that will never change." As Lily nodded and her eyelids grew heavy, Nathan felt buoyed by the fact that love and acceptance were woven into their interactions, allowing them to forge ahead. After the kids were asleep, Nathan joined Sarah on the patio outside. The cool breeze felt refreshing as they enjoyed the quiet of the night together. "You handled today well," Sarah complimented, taking Nathan's hand in hers. "You showed such strength navigating Lisa and still remaining focused on the kids." "Thanks. It wasn't easy, but it's essential." "Those moments allow me to keep moving forward," he replied, sighing softly. "The kids need that stability as we grow together." "I admire that. You're setting a wonderful example of resilience for them," Sarah said, admiration shining in her eyes. "And for our future, too." Nathan turned to her, feeling the familiar warmth unfurl within him. "I truly value you being part of this journey. I know we have so much ahead of us." As they embraced beneath the starlit sky, Nathan felt renewed. He was crafting the life he had once thought lost. The challenges born from the past had only served to strengthen his resolve, and with Sarah at his side, he felt ready to embrace everything that came next. While intricacies of family dynamics were often fraught with struggles, Nathan understood that forging a path rooted firmly in love, respect, and open communication could create an enduring legacy of togetherness, not just for his children, but for everyone involved. As he reflected on the night, Nathan knew that whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them together, inspired by the love that had slowly blossomed amidst hardship, committed to creating a brand new family narrative. As the weeks unfolded into months, the seasons around Nathan's family began to shift just as profoundly as their internal dynamics. With the arrival of winter, the holidays brought a flurry of activity, filled with decorating, gift shopping, and planning family gatherings. The atmosphere was vibrant, infused with a warmth that echoed the love now suffusing their lives. Thanksgiving approached, and Nathan reveled in the excitement of hosting a family dinner, a task he had taken on with verve. His children couldn't contain their enthusiasm for the impending festivities, and Ben shared ideas for what dishes they could include. "Can we have turkey and tons of pumpkin pie?" he asked with gleeful anticipation. "Absolutely." "And what about stuffing?" Nathan replied, buoyed by his son's excitement. "We'll have the works, just like a proper Thanksgiving dinner." Meanwhile, Sarah took on the responsibility of decorating the house. Together, they strung lights around the windows, adorned the dining table with vibrant fall colors, and began preparing the meal. It felt remarkable to work together, blending their lives into a shared vision for what family could look like. As they worked side by side in the kitchen, Sarah's presence invigorated Nathan, turning mundane tasks into joyful moments. Amidst stirring sauces and baking pies, they chatted and made each other laugh, building a comfortable rhythm that felt entirely natural. It was a tangible reminder of their connection, one he cherished as they diversified their days into something truly enchanting. "Do you think Lisa will come?" Sarah asked casually, stirring a pot of cranberry sauce. Nathan paused, contemplating. "I hope so. I think it's essential for the kids to have her here. We're trying to cultivate a sense of normalcy, and the holidays can be a good opportunity to model togetherness." "I agree. It will help them feel the spirits of the season more fully," she replied, her expression thoughtful and supportive. As the day of Thanksgiving approached, Nathan reached out to Lisa, inviting her to join the family celebration. He let her know the kids were looking forward to seeing her and lamented the challenges sometimes felt during transitions, but expressed hope that the holiday could foster new beginnings. "Thank you for including me," Lisa replied tentatively. "I will be there. I want to contribute. Maybe I can bring a dish." "Sounds great. Bring your specialty." "The kids will be excited," Nathan encouraged, pleased by her willingness to engage. Finally, Thanksgiving Day arrived, and Nathan felt the blend of anticipation and nervousness swirl within him. The aroma of turkey roasting filled the air, while laughter echoed through the house as the children played games, transforming the space into a cauldron of warmth. When midday approached, a knock at the door sent ripples of excitement through the room. Nathan opened the door to reveal Lisa, bearing a pumpkin pie as her contribution. The kids rushed to greet her, their joy palpable as they enveloped her in enthusiastic hugs. "Mom, you're here!" Lily exclaimed, her delight unfiltered. "Of course! I wouldn't miss this. I hope everyone is ready for my famous pumpkin pie," Lisa said, smiling brightly, as she stepped into the warm, inviting home. The atmosphere shifted to one of camaraderie as they settled around the dining table, everything prepared and beautifully arranged. As they gathered, Nathan appreciated that this patchwork gathering of their disparate lives was beginning to form something deeper, a shared experience infused with love and goodwill. Thanks for coming, everyone," Nathan said, raising his glass of sparkling cider. "Let's toast to family, to new beginnings, and to being here today together. The clinking of glasses resonated around the table, and as they dug into their meals, the children happily recounted funny moments and made plans for future adventures. Eager laughter enveloped the space, and even Nathan felt the remnants of old tensions fade into the background. Still, he occasionally glanced at Lisa, observing how she interacted with their kids, a focused effort in her demeanor. She truly seemed to be trying, making genuine gestures, engaging with them, and appreciating the joy of being part of a family once more. During dessert, as they savored the pie, Nathan felt a wave of gratitude wash over him. It was profoundly rewarding to see that even amidst their complex past, they could carve out moments of joy together. And that night, as the kids spoke excitedly about what they were thankful for, Nathan felt a renewed sense of hope take root. "Dad, I'm thankful for you, and for Mom being here," Lily exclaimed, her voice bright and sincere. "Me too," Ben echoed, beaming up at both parents. A wave of emotion struck Nathan's heart. The love radiating from his children felt like a silent promise that they were beginning to heal, and that their family could find its way through uncharted territories together. Later, as the sun dipped below the horizon and the house settled into a cozy quiet, Nathan found himself reflecting by the firelight. He watched as Lisa and Sarah exchanged friendly banter in the kitchen while they tidied up, revealing snippets of their growing rapport. This was a partnership formed not just through mutual respect, but born out of the love for the children they both held dear. As the festivities wound down, Nathan delighted in the adjacent comfort. Contentment lingered in the air. The night solidified his realization that he had become so much more than just a reaction to betrayal. He was weaving a new narrative, one crafted with resilience, hope, and the bonds formed through shared experiences. But even amidst the warm afterglow of the evening, shadows returned when Nathan received a text from Lisa one evening, a few days after Thanksgiving. "Can we talk? I think it's time we address some of the things we haven't yet." Curiosity mingled with apprehension. Hadn't they just taken steps toward rebuilding connections? Wasn't the growing rapport between them sufficient? Yet, he recognized that transparency would be critical to maintaining the overall harmony they had worked so hard to cultivate. "Sure, let's meet on Friday," Nathan replied, bracing himself for the conversation ahead. When Friday arrived, Nathan entered the small coffee shop where they agreed to meet, savoring the comforting aroma of roasted beans with every breath he took. Lisa was already seated at a corner table, her expression pensive. "Thanks for meeting with me," she said, her voice tentative. "Of course, it's important that we talk." Nathan settled across from her, running a hand through his hair as he prepared for the conversation. "Thanksgiving went better than I expected," she began, flashing a small smile. "Seeing everyone together made me realize how far we've come, and how special it might be for the kids as they adjust to the changes." "I agree. It was nice to come together as a family, even if it looks different now," Nathan replied, feeling a slight shift in the atmosphere. "But I think we can do better," Lisa continued, her tones earnest. "We can't just skate through life. We need to talk about the difficult things too." Nathan regarded her intently, sensing an openness about her that had previously eluded their discussions. "Go on," he encouraged, intrigued by her willingness to address deeper issues. "I know I hurt you, Nathan," she said softly. "I want you to know that I am fundamentally changing how I approach my life and my role as a mother. But I think we need to ensure that I remain a consistent part of the kids' lives without feeling like I'm encroaching on your territory." He absorbed her words and the sincerity behind them. "Establishing boundaries is key, Lisa. It's important for both you and the kids to see that you don't have to compete with Sarah or anyone else to be their mother." Lisa nodded, allowing that understanding to settle. "I just want to grow, and I want them to see me making effort while figuring out how to co-parent effectively with you and Sarah." With that, they delved into a multifaceted discussion on establishing distinct roles, understanding expectations, and navigating the relationship changes they embarked on. They found common ground, forming a plan to approach co-parenting as a team rather than adversaries, to ensure their children felt considered as they adjusted to the changes life had thrust upon them. Nathan appreciated the strides Lisa was willing to take, Perhaps through these deep discussions, they could foster healing not only for themselves, but create a brighter path for their children. As they wrapped up their conversation, Nathan felt a profound shift within the dynamic. Together, they acknowledged the challenges still ahead, but the potential for genuine collaboration had emerged like a beacon. They were not merely tethered to their past. They were crafting a future where love and openness could flourish. Leaving the coffee shop, Nathan couldn't help but feel energized by the discussions ahead. A step towards something more meaningful, more unified than he had ever hoped. The journey was ongoing, but with each stride, he could feel threads weaving together a family tapestry that promised a brighter future for everyone involved. There was power in transformation, and clarity had emerged alongside the changing seasons, revealing opportunities that lay ahead, glimmering like the first light of dawn. With Sarah, the kids, and Lisa all contributing to this evolving family fabric, Nathan felt more hopeful than ever that they were on a path to create a new legacy, rooted in compassion, love, and the ongoing pursuit of happiness, each step repeated as a promise, one that could carry them through whatever lay ahead.